What's up, guys? So before I start today's video, if you will, go ahead and go down to the description below. Go and click on any of the links that you are associated with, whether that be Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Don't use Twitter that much, but where I haven't made a video in quite some time, I do keep you guys updated on my social media of what's been going on, especially since August. I think my last video might have been in August, might have been my last video. And I've had a lot of things go on since then. Quick backstory before I get to the boat and the video itself. So back in August, I had a Champion, which you guys have seen in my previous videos. Absolutely love the boat. Well, it was about midway through August. We were out one morning out in North Lake, and we was running down the lake. Things were just going smooth. Ended up having, actually, the cylinder ended up blowing on the motor. I knew I was gonna be getting married at some point, and I didn't know, if I was gonna be able to afford to get me a new boat. So I went back and forth on whether or not I was gonna keep the boat, if I was gonna sell it, get a different boat, did not know. So I actually ended up selling the boat, ended up parting everything out. And I didn't go long. I ended up getting into another boat. It was a Pro Craft. And like I said, if you guys, especially on Instagram, if you go on there, you'll be able to see what the boats looked like that I had, and obviously where I'm at now. So got the Pro Craft. I had it for like 2 months. I did not like it at all. And then about a month ago, I made a long trip up to Michigan, and I got a boat that I've wanted my entire life. I've always been a Ranger fan ever since I was a little kid. Didn't think I'd ever be able to own one, especially at the age I am now, just because they're so expensive. But I got really lucky. I came across this boat. It was actually owned by a couple that her father had bought it back in 2000, brand new, and it's been in the family the entire time. It's been garage kept, very well taken care of. I think everything but the lower unit and the units are literally original, and a few other little upgrades that I've made since I've purchased the boat. But without further ado, I'm going to go and show you the boat. It is a 2000 Ranger R81VS. It's got a Mercury 175. Now, that 175 back there, that's probably the biggest concern with the boat, just due to the fact that that's what I had on my Champion before it blew on me. It's a really powerful motor, does really well. This boat, with it being a heavier boat, it's still tournament loaded. I'm getting mid 60s. If I was to have a hydraulic jack plate or was to mess around the prop some, I might even get better speeds out of it. But I'm gonna go ahead and just work my way from the front to the back. So I have added a few things since getting the boat myself. This Minn Kota 4Trex actually just yesterday, just got it hooked up. I have not taken it on the water yet. That's what we plan on doing this evening. I added that, and if you bring the camera over here, so this boat did not have a recessed foot pedal tray, and that was like the very first thing I wanted to do when I got the boat. So I added this Comfort Troll recessed foot pedal tray. It's got a cup holder. If you know anything about old boats, a lot of old boats do not have cup holders. That's one thing I don't know why. I guess they just didn't think you wanted them on old boats back then. So it does have that. That's nice. Has some plier holders. Really like it. And let's see, on the front end. So I've always been a low rants guy. I have not really ran anything but low rants. The Pro Craft I had Garmin's on it. Used them for a very short period of time. I did like them, but I ended up selling them with the boat. And then I'm not gonna sit here and talk about these Humminbirds because I don't know much about them. These are some older models. They're the 800 series. I do everything I need to do right now. I do plan on upgrading in the future. Don't know if I'm gonna go back to low rants or I'm gonna stick with Humminbird. I'm not sure. But that's pretty much it on the front end of the boat. I did here recently, I added a keel guard, I added a scuff buster, and I added some strips for my navigation lights. So I no longer have to plug that in. So that's on the front end. As far as the trailer goes, the trailer is obviously made by Ranger. That's one thing they do. They take very well care of their trailers, make sure that they're done very well. The trailer itself is a C-channel, so you don't have to worry about rusting like you get with a lot of enclosed trailers. I'd probably say the only argument point on these trailers is a lot of them come with the fiberglass fenders. And as you can see on this one, it's scuffed up pretty bad. And this can be pretty expensive to replace. I actually like the fiberglass fenders. A lot of people don't. I actually like it. I do plan on replacing that, getting that fixed. The other one's in decent shape. It does have brakes on the trailer. First trailer that I've owned with a boat that's had brakes. Really like that. And as you come to the back of the boat, so with these Rangers, they have an offset transom. So if you notice, the transom actually sticks out further. So it sort of gives you offset already. So you don't necessarily have to run a huge jack plate with these boats. It does have a 4-inch power lift jack plate. I do plan on switching to a hydraulic jack plate at some point. The only issue I would say with this boat is where it is, it's already a really, really heavy boat. And as you can tell, the motor's already lifted pretty high on the jack plate, but it runs really good with lightweight, runs really good with, I'd say, half a tank. But once you put a full tank in, you got a full live wells, it does change the way the boat drives entirely. So being able to adjust your motor on the fly would be very, very nice. As well as that, I added some steer stoppers right here for just traveling on the road, keeps the motor from turning. Got a transom saver, and then on the back we're running a 25 pitch Tempest Plus. It does have some nicks and scratches on it. Probably will end up getting me a new prop here soon. That should also help my top end as well. And then on this side of the boat, Ranger does come with a spare tire that they mount on the side. I really do like that. It's easy to get to, it's not underneath the boat. Like I said, I have another Humminbird unit here at the dash. All the gauges, for the most part, work. Other than your speedometer, for some reason, those always seem to go bad in boats. The one thing I really do like about this boat that I've never had, and most newer boats only have them, is it has a temperature gauge, which is really, really nice. I can keep an eye on that along with my water pressure gauge. Really, really good. I think one old school thing you guys may have not seen on a lot of boats, it actually has a compass. So if all my units were to go dead on me or whatever, I guess if I had an old style map, I could actually sort of see where I need to go. This is an antenna right here. I do have a radio in this boat, really nice, especially on those hot days. If I'm graphing around or if I got the fiance on the boat and listen to music while we're moving around. And yeah, that's pretty much the extent of the outside of the boat. We'll go ahead and get on the inside and I'll show you guys what's inside the boat. All right, so from the back of the boat, one thing that Ranger does that a lot of boat companies are starting to do is if you're on the water and you're needing to adjust something, whether it be with your batteries or your bilge or something like that, a lot of times these compartments open up this direction, which if you're outside the boat, it's really good, but if you're inside the boat, it makes it very difficult to get to. So one thing Ranger does is they actually have their compartments opening from the inside out, which is really, really nice. A lot of room in here. I do plan on adding power poles at some point. There's a wide open space right here in the center. If you'll go ahead and show up here. So really, really like that. I can add plenty of accessories to the boat itself, which I do plan on doing at some point. Has two really good sized live wells. They're just split down the center. You can take that out if you want, but plenty big enough, especially for the fish I catch. I'm not catching a lot of 10 pounders, but it gets the job done. I really do like them. Let's see. So on this side, with this boat, I've decided to move all my weight. Traditionally, I would keep all my hard baits and stuff, I would keep them in the center of the boat, and then I'd put my soft plastics towards the back. Well, I've sort of flip-flopped it this time because I tend to have more hard baits than I do soft plastics. So in the back end of the boat, I have all my hard baits, everything from hooks, terminal tackle, my, like I said, crankbaits, jerk baits, all that kind of stuff, jigs. Everything is stationed in that compartment itself. And then on this compartment, this is actually, it's a mix box. If I have a co-angler with me, that he can put stuff in here, but for right now, I have my Ranger hoodie, I have an extra hat, I have some gloves, scale, I have a few extra baits down in here, GoPro stuff, just different kinds of sorts of stuff I keep in there. Like I said, if I have anybody else in the boat with me, this is where they can put their tackle. All right, so we're in right here at the cockpit of the boat. One thing I do like, it actually has quite a bit of room, quite a bit of leg room. The Champion I had, my knees always wanted to hit the dash. With this boat, I have more room. Do really, really like that. The ProCraft I had no room underneath the dash whatsoever. Didn't have a hot foot or anything. I don't even think I could have added one even if I wanted to. But this boat does have a hot foot made by TH Marine. I have my blinker trim. Like I said, all my gauges work, all my switches work. I do have a live well. I can change it from recirc to auto right here, empty to obviously empty out my water at the end of the day. It's all right here next to me. Very, very handy. And let's see, the seats are original. They are in pretty good shape. You can see there's a few tears here and there, but for a 20-year-old boat, I would say this is pretty good. I've seen newer boats in worse condition before, so I really do like that these people took care of this boat, and I'm hoping to at least get another 2 to 3 years out of them before I have to replace them. And I probably will, when I replace them, I probably will add a center console instead of doing seating all the way across, just because this tends to be an area where people like to step on getting from the back end of the boat to the front. So that's pretty much it right here. I'm gonna go and show you the front end and we'll go from there. Alrighty, so moving to the front end of the boat where I do most of my work, try to anyways. This front deck is sectioned out by 4 compartments. This compartment I'm not using too much right now, just due to the fact that this was actually add-on from Ranger. And the way they have it set up, it does have a lock, but it's not on any kind of lift or anything right now. I do plan on adding some hinges and putting a lift on it so that way I can actually use it for its purpose. Because right now it's just sort of annoying opening and closing it. I've had a few friends use it and it's a lot of hassle. So there's that compartment there. This one right here, again, like I said, I used to use this for my hard baits. Now I use this mostly for my soft plastics. And in here I have some Plano bags that I keep all my soft plastics in. Sweatshirt from a friend. And then I have a box right here just full of swim baits. That's pretty much all my soft plastics there. I got plenty of room. It actually moves all the way up to the front end of the boat, so I got plenty of room. If I want to add more stuff in there, or if I wanted to section it out, I could put some hard baits in there as well. And then moving on to this side compartment right here. Again, I don't like to put a lot of stuff in my boat just because it weighs it down, so I try to keep this compartment fairly light. I usually keep my net, rope, life jackets, some extra line, the radios in here, just things I have to keep. Other than that, I try to keep it pretty empty. As you can see, there's not too many things in there, but I do have the things obviously that I need. Moving on to my favorite compartment, that being my rod box. So this is an 18, almost 19 foot boat. When I bought it, I asked people I bought the boat from, you know, what was the biggest rod you had here? Now, given up north, they use a lot of spinning rods. And they were like, you know, we keep 7 foot rods in here. And I was sort of worried at first because, like, right now I have a 7'10" rod. It's a cranking rod, and I didn't know if I'd be able to fit it in here, and that was going to be a huge ordeal if I wasn't going to be able to. But luckily, I was able to fit all my rods in here. So I have all of them in here, and for the most part, they all have rod gloves, so they're easy to slide in and out. I also have the reel covers on them as well. You know, it gets the job done for me, and I could probably add an additional probably 10 or 15 rods in there with no problem. I know me and a co-angler were able to put our rods in here and travel and not have any problems whatsoever. So I really do like that Ranger made a big enough compartment for people to be able to store the rods in there. And then moving up onto the front of the boat, like I said, I pretty much went over all this earlier. Like I said, the recessed foot pedal tray. I do have all my trim, my lights, switches up here. I do have an additional switch if I want to add any other accessories up here. And then one other thing I'm not crazy about, some people may like it, they have these rope cleats up here. They have one here and two on the back. And I guess they're made maybe to tie off to like a dock or maybe a bridge. You're fishing underneath the bridge. All you do is you loosen that and you're able to pull that rope out and tie off and then tighten it back. So could be handy for certain people depending on what kind of fishing you're doing. I don't really have any need for them, mainly just takes up space. I do have one question. If you guys maybe know something I could put in replace of that, if I was to get rid of it, what's something I could use to plug that hole with? Because I don't want just one, I mean, it's probably an inch hole right there. I don't want that just sitting right there and then having two more in the back. So anything you guys can think of that maybe I could plug the hole with. I may use the two in the back eventually when I get power poles, use those two holes to run the lines through, and that won't be too big of a deal, but especially this one right here, it's just, there's just gonna be a hole there if I try taking it out. Anyways, guys, that's the boat itself, and I hope that I get to keep this boat for quite some time. I have not had much luck ever since. It seems like I had my old aluminum boat that I grew up fishing out of for probably my first like 19, 20 years of my life. Had no problems with it, was able to stay on the water